All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich Celenza. Thanks for checking out the Rich Celenza Show. So what I want to talk about today is relationships being a rhythm. If you know anything about me, I try to help people a lot of times with their relationships, especially over the years. It's been men, but I'm also transitioning into women. But I wrote a book called The Wingman, which is a guide to help men find the woman or women of their dreams. And I also created a program based off of the book called Mastering Self-Confidence, which helps men also find the woman of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. So I'm kind of known for doing that. And I also have a podcast and a YouTube that you're probably listening to on some type of platform. And I talk a lot about relationships, and I throw a lot of people under the bus. I don't care, husband, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, straight, gay, I don't care. I think a lot of us have to understand that we're going to have problems in relationships throughout our life. And that can go for friendships as well, colleagues, everything in between. But in this case, I want to talk about whoever you're with, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, all those type of things, relationship, and it being a rhythm. A lot of times I talk about how we treat one another in relationships, how after a certain amount of time we get sick of one another, or we start lashing out at one another, or instead of uplifting each other or being kind and considerate, we start to argue and fight more. And I think this happens to a lot of people. They're going to have ups and downs, especially if you plan on being in a relationship for decades. You're going to have ups and downs. I don't care who the hell you are. You're not going to go unscathed. That I can assure you. Very few people I know have a relationship where it goes unbelievable every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year, where it's just perfection. That I don't even know if that exists. I've never seen anything close to that. But I do want to talk about with the rhythm of a relationship too, is it really is sometimes, and I've learned this especially later in life, how you got to really pay attention, not just to what you're doing in your life or how you feel or how you're being treated all the time. I've learned this especially with who I'm with now, and she's really takes the approach of, the high road a lot of times. And learning really, and I've learned this from her, when is the right time to argue and not? What type of, it's not even about not being selfish, but understanding what I'm going through at that point in time and how to deal with that situation. Because I think a lot of times, say someone's having a bad day, husband and wife, and the husband's having a bad day, and then, the wife's exhausted too. Maybe she has kids. She's not having a great day, but the husband comes home, he's screaming and yelling. Before you know it, she's screaming and yelling. And it could be vice versa. Like, you kind of fell into a rhythm of the negativity or the fighting, where, say, say the husband again comes in, he's in a bad mood, and I'm not saying the woman should let him verbally abuse him or anything like that, but if he's got to vent a little bit, she just sits there and kind of listens, even if it may hurt her feelings, or it's not what she wanted to talk about, or she's not in the mood, kind of letting him go through whatever he has to go through, and then kind of acknowledging and saying, listen, how can I maybe make this better instead of making this situation worse? And this goes both ways. I'm not just saying for a woman to do this for a man, I'm saying a man with a woman. Because I do think throughout our relationships, I talk about it all the time, good days, good weeks, good years, bad years. It could be financially, health. It could be other things out of your control. It could be your kids. It could be all these things. But again, if you kind of get into a rhythm, right, where each one of you know each other so well that you kind of want to help them when they're going through a harder time, not hurt them or bog them down. Because I do think in relationships a lot of times, we want to prove the other person a lot of times wrong. Or maybe just not treat them with respect anymore, or just devalue this person. But if you think about it, if you're with this person, you live with this person, you love this person, why would you do that? I see a lot of times too, friendships where it could be men and women, a lot of them seem to want to go out of their way more for their friends than actually who they're in a relationship with. So if you have friends out there that'll call you and need you in a time of need, they'll always be there. They'll always be, if you have a fight with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, call me. Or if something goes wrong, I'm there for you. I'm always there. A lot of them have better conversations with their friends than they do with who they're with. And again, probably because you have a pretty good rhythm going with those other people. This is the type of rhythm I'm talking about with whoever you're with. And it's hard. It is very hard a lot of times to like come home and you're not in the mood and somebody starts berating you, or just is in a bad mood and doesn't want to talk to anybody, or is just having a bad day. And instead of you going, I'm so sick of this shit. I'm sick of their bullshit. I'm sick of their moods. I'm sick of the depression. All they want to do is bitch, or whatever the case may be. Maybe saying, hey, listen, let's try to what's the problem? Let me try to help you through this a little bit. And you're like, you can't help me, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Maybe keeping your distance and not talking to them. Maybe just saying, hey, let's go out. Let's, it's a bad day for you. Let's make this day a better day. Let's end on a better note, not a sour note. And again, that comes down to timing, I think, a lot of times. And people kind of lose that timing with whoever they're with. At the beginning of the relationship, the honeymoon phase, if you kind of look at a lot of people, the rhythm is really sweet. It's new. It's nice. It's like it's maturing. It's getting thick. It's rich, right? It's kind of like you meet each other. All the conversations are very interesting. And as time goes on, you're starting to find all the, you're learning from this person and they're learning from you. You're having fun, and obviously you're probably fooling around. That's new and exciting and all. But after a certain amount of time, when a lot of that shit is done, what's in the tank? What do we have left? I talk about all the time is conversation, interesting conversation, and growth. How are you two going to grow? How are you two going to better this relationship, not sabotage it or destroy it in the long term? And a lot of people's behavior too, especially if you have children, they really underestimate the way they're behaving toward one another in front of their kids. I believe is programming them a lot of times how they're going to treat whoever they end up with. And, I just think these are things that people have to think about. And it's the same with your kids, having that rhythm with them. And if you have more than one kid, 2, 3, whatever the case, it's a rhythm between whoever you're with, your husband, wife, boyfriend, or whatever, and your kids. It's all got to be like, it's almost like music. And it's all got to, a lot of times for it to work, you all got to be on the same, you know what I'm saying? Like the same rhythm. It's kind of like what I was saying. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. I think you get an idea of what I'm talking about with this. And it doesn't matter what age you are. I'm just telling you right now. I think we all have, again, our ups and downs. It doesn't matter if you're dating at 18 or if you've been married for 20 years or if you've been divorced or whatever the case may be. Next time you're with somebody, say, wow, are we jiving here? Are we fluent or whatever? Are we like really, even through the bad times, are we still getting along? Are we still helping each other even though we're arguing? And that may sound crazy to say, wait a minute, while you're arguing or screaming it, and I'm going to tell you right now, I've been in arguments or disputes, and I try 10 minutes later, I don't care who it's with, and say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Let's, if they need their distance, they need it, but saying, hey, later, you want to just go out? I'll take you out for a drink. Or, hey, later, let's just go out for coffee, just being or, hey, let's just grab the dog and go for a walk and talk. Whatever the case may be, again, trying to make it the best, instead of getting caught up with the worst. So, you got any questions or comments, please feel free to hit me up. My book is wingmanthebook.com if you ever want to check that out. My program is masteringselfconfidence.com. My website's therichcelenzashow.com if you need any advice. I'd love to help anyone I can. And if I can't, I will tell you up front that I can't. But take care, everyone.